Coming up, Matthew Christodoulou. Awesome, thank you. Yeah, Matthew's the creator of, the co-producer of the documentary Collective Evolution.
Yes.
Which I personally thoroughly enjoyed. There's a lot of good stuff in there.
Awesome.
Fabulous. You guys are a Toronto group.
Yes, we are.
How long ago was that? That was Collective Evolution 2. Is the most recent one out.
Yes,
That
it was released in October 2011.
Okay.
So just over a year ago.
You guys are working on a third one now.
Yes, that is in the works, absolutely.
Awesome. So, how did you get started in this journey? I mean, you don't really claim any titles as far as what you do, but what do you do?
That's a good question. Well, I find that in what I do, it's just about being myself. It's just about being myself and doing whatever I feel guided to do at any given point in time. And, I realize that I am here for a purpose, as we all are, to experience this shift in consciousness that we're experiencing. And through that, I feel inclined to do things from all angles, whether it's write an article or share with somebody one-on-one or share in a group setting and stuff like that. And just really allowing myself to expand myself through learning, through experiences and stuff. And relating to others, sharing my experiences and just playing, as I like to call it. Playing on the planet, because we're here to experience life. We're here to experience the grand aspect of everything that we can experience here. And, just through that, just learning, growing, playing, and living life.
Yeah, there's many that say that's, as the one that we are, we came here split in all these beings that we are to experience ourselves in as many ways as we possibly can.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a giant playground.
Oh, absolutely.
So how'd you get connected with, or did you guys come, like the Collective Evolution team, did you guys come together, or did you get connected with them, or how did that come about?
Okay, it actually started out, I was working in finance, and through that, two other guys started working with the company as well. And the three of us always just kind of had this feeling of where we could see through a lot of the structures within society. We could see a lot of stuff that didn't necessarily resonate with us. We could see how things could be changed. And so through that, we just had this passion inside that we wanted to share certain things with the world through our experiences and things that we saw. So what we did was we started off by creating a website, which is Collective Evolution. It's collective-evolution.com. And it started as a blog site. And what we did was just we would go through certain experiences and we'd be like, wow, you know what, maybe somebody else can learn from this, or maybe it could just assist someone. So what we were doing is just sharing our experiences, relating with relationships and family, just through our own stuff. And we found that we were getting pretty good feedback. People were saying, hey, it's cool, like, you guys are having some cool experiences, thank you so much, I was able to relate to this and whatnot. And through that, we just started to expand, and we came in contact with more people through doing different gatherings and stuff like that. And then we all just really had this innate feeling inside, We understood that there is a shift happening on the planet, and we just really want to be a part of it in the most effective way that we can. So we created a website that could actually expand to more people. It was more so not as much a blog site, but just like where we could share different articles and videos and stuff like that. And it turned into us wanting to do a documentary. And so just it was about a 6-month period where we just kind of put our heads together. We were all actually, there was myself, Joe, and Mike at the time. And Joe Martino and Mike Passione. He's actually not a part of the group anymore. But yeah, we were all living together, so we kind of just put our heads together. And we had other people come into the picture, which is Mark Nicola now. And yeah, we just kind of we all resonated, we all had the same vision sort of thing, so we put our heads together and we just wanted to create a documentary. And through a 6-month period, we just started to share this information, putting it on paper. We had like a nice big whiteboard where we could brainstorm stuff. And next thing you know, we didn't have a lot of money, but everything just kind of flowed perfectly in place for us. People came into contact with us, through giving us donations, and yeah, so we put it together, and we released that on January 1st, 2011. and we had awesome feedback from it. It was our first attempt at making a video. And you know, it really gave us confidence in understanding that, you know what, there's a lot more people out there that feel how we feel. And through that, we just started to do gatherings and started to do events, and we do personal one-on-one consultations, and just really living and being an example for people. And just, you know, I know from my own personal journey, just walking out, I try to every day just be the person that I want to see in the world, you know, be the change, as everyone says, right? And so, I guess, fast forward about 10 months later, we actually came together with another documentary. They were both released in the same year, in 2011, and our videos combined now have reached over 500,000 views on YouTube. Yeah, thank you.
Curious, who here's seen Collective Evolution, or one or two? No, good. Powerful video. It's online, available for people to watch.
Yes,
for free.
it's available online for free, absolutely, because the work that we do isn't about making money. That's not what we're here for. We, of course, are still in a system that requires money to live and whatnot. So we do sell it online for people who do want to support the message and help us to continue the work that we're doing. So
when does number 3 do it?
That's a good question.
Okay.
We don't know yet. We don't know yet. It's still in the construction process. We're still brainstorming ideas, and our main goal is to really get a message across that this shift is happening, that people are going through it, that people have stepped out of certain things within the system, within their own personal journeys. And we really want to bring it to a very grounded and simple message for everybody on the planet to understand, that anybody can relate to. And you know, if you decide you want to be a part of this, a part of the shift that is happening, that's our main message, is unification of everybody.
Although the video is available online free, anybody that would like to help support Matthew and the Collective Evolution team, there's DVDs available out front. You can see him after. I'm sure the support would be much appreciated, because a lot of time and effort and expense put into them.
Oh, absolutely. You know, and we even say whether it's not even financial contribution. I mean, if anybody ever feels like they ever want to give anything that they have, whether it's, you know, just promotional skills or maybe graphic animation, even just helping to spread the message, because this, I just want to make it clear that Collective Evolution it's an outlet for us. It's not like an organization that we want to identify with and has all these certain rules. It's just a very open platform organization where we can use it as an outlet to share with the world and assist humanity. And so we really want to bring as many people as we can together and do that, because we're all in this together.
I've been plugging it for a long time, because it's literally, I've watched a lot of documentaries over the last handful of years, and that's right up there on the top of the list of my favorites as far as the goodness that's in there. It seems to me, anyway, really spot on. It's good stuff. So I'm not just saying that because you're here. I mean, it's on the top.
No,
of the
that's
list.
great
So
to hear.
that you're here to share with us. Good stuff. So I'm curious, what would be, if you could find one thing out of all your experiences and learnings and understandings, if there was one thing that you could summarize to share with people that would help them live a more happy, peaceful life, what's one of the single most powerful things you could share with us?
Okay, that's a good question. I mean, I can relate it to various things, but going along my journey, I had this perspective of the world. I had an idea, my own personal vision of what the world felt like, what the world looked like. And as I began to get older, and as I accelerated through my own awakening, I started to see and understand that the way I thought it was and the way I felt about the world didn't have to be this way. You know, I started to see through the illusions that I was creating within my mind of certain belief systems that I was holding on to that would trigger certain emotions and stuff within my life. And not only was it began to feel a lot more uncomfortable, but I realized how limiting it was to my experience through all the different identifications that we take on, and through all the different judgments and the separation and stuff like that we create. And you know, I would really say that as I began to step out of just one thing, even if it was like a simple little thing where something could be as simple as something like you're driving in traffic and somebody cuts you off and it triggers you, you know, you kind of get a little bit angry. But when you really learn to ground and center yourself within the moment and just understand, okay, you're detaching from the experience. You're just understanding that that person did that, but do I need to create a story behind it? Do I need to judge it? Do I need to be emotionally triggered? And once you realize that it's just a story that you're creating in your mind, and then you create a physical reaction, you realize that it's not a part of who you are, because we are these peaceful, we are these neutral beings having this human experience that we're experiencing. And I found that as I was able to see through just like one thing like that, I realized, you know, what else am I able to let go of? What else am I able to overcome and observe? And just through observation of looking at all these different stories and perspectives and belief systems that I created, I realized that, you know, none of this is who I am. And it doesn't, my life doesn't have to be this way. And I can actually open myself up to experience it, a less limiting experience. And that's what we're here, like I was saying, you know, how we're here to learn and grow and play and everything, is that we create these perceptual boxes of how, like I was saying, we view the world, how we see the world, how we feel about each other, one another, our relationship with everything, our relationship with the planet, our relationship with our family members, with our friends, with humans as in general, relationships with the oceanic kingdom, with the animal kingdom, and everything. And you know, it's just really about transforming these relationships from a place of an ego-based consciousness where we're dealing with competition and emotion and fear and anger and all that stuff like this, to a love-based consciousness where we understand the interconnectedness behind everything, how we are all interconnected and how everything affects everything.
It sounds like, in general, what you're saying is that you kind of pull out of those boxes and get an observer view, an overview, rather than being trapped in it, a victim of it.
Exactly.
You're able to pull back and just see what it is for what it is, rather than like, shit, I gotta get that guy for cutting me off.
Exactly, exactly. You know, because if you really look at it, you know, when
Oops, I swore.
it's just an experience.
Like,
See, like, if you really look at a situation like that, where if somebody triggers you like that, you're the one who's becoming angry, right? You know, that guy might not even have seen you. You know what I mean? So as long as we're allowing our emotions to drive us, we're limiting ourselves in what we're experiencing. Because a lot of the times it's like an automatic reaction. It's where our minds are programmed and conditioned. It's like an auto response. You know, where you can be in a certain situation and just without even thinking, it kind of just turns on.
autopilot.
You know, exactly. It's on autopilot. And that's the thing, is really about bridging the gap between driving ourselves on that autopilot and really just experiencing within the moment and having the control and power to create as we wish from our hearts rather than being driven by the mind.
So how could somebody, if we could share a tip somehow, can we help somebody pull out and do that, you know, in a moment, instead of being trapped in it? What's something that might help people see, okay, wait,
Sure.
let's pull out of that, you know, like
That's a great question. There is really no right or wrong way to go about it. I always like to say that. You know, it's different for everyone, and there are various methods, and one of the most important things, I think, is to really just feel what works best for you. You know, like Joe, for example, he likes to play with crystals, you know, so other people like to just kind of close their eyes and go into a quiet space and stuff, but I think one of the most effective ways is just observation. Just really making a point of being in an observer state rather than just these stories running through our minds. Because, for example, if somebody's able to trigger you, okay, I always like to, a friend of mine actually quotes this, he always says, everybody else in the world is holding a match, and we're carrying gasoline. And if they're able to light us up, that means we're holding on to the gasoline, right? So it's really about letting go of the gasoline so that other people can't light you up, or anything, not even just people. It could be any sort of experience. So
it's more fun to carry the match than the gasoline.
So really, it's just about, it's about looking at all the matches and how they can affect us, and looking at the gasoline, of course. So, you know, if you're in an experience where somebody else is able to trigger you, just really observe why and where it's coming from. Because most of the time we're going to create a story in our minds, like, oh, I don't like that person because they did this. Okay, so why is it that you don't like that? And then you can go into that, and you can dig deeper and deeper and deeper. And you look at the root cause of it, and once you're able to see it, the power of that autopilot loses control, because it's no longer on autopilot because you're aware of it. So I really feel that the observation, the awareness of our experiences and looking at things can really allow us to step back into that perspective. Okay, so I'm feeling this way. You know, when we look at it, it's not from a place of judgment, it's from a place of neutrality, because if we're judging our experiences still, that's still coming from our minds. But if we're centered in our hearts and we're looking at it and observing it, we say, okay, you know, I'm feeling this way. Why am I feeling this way? Because this person showed me this, whatever. I'm holding on to this belief system in my mind. And we can ask ourselves, you know, do we have to continue to experience this? Do we need to hold on to it? Is it serving our experience? You know, is it limiting us in any way? Does it make us feel peaceful? Does it make us feel neutral? You know, because most of the time it's not, right? And I find that what we're going through right now is that we're actually in a clearing and purging process on the planet right now, where all of this stuff that we're holding on to is being surfaced from every angle because of the intensity of the energies that are on the planet right now. We're asking all souls around us, we're asking it to come in like dream form and from animals, from all different sorts of experiences that are just showing us all these belief systems that are creating these perceptual boxes that we're keeping ourselves in.
I guess part of the trick is recognizing when you've been triggered and being able to pull back.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
then, I guess what it seems to me is once you do that enough times, it becomes habit. And then if you don't even need to think about it anymore, you don't get triggered. You just always more observer style.
Yes, absolutely. And it's a process of looking at each thing piece by piece and just identifying it and letting it go. And you're absolutely right. You know, we've conditioned ourselves to take on certain belief systems and just experience life in a certain way. So it's about unconditioning all of that. And it's really about taking back control and taming our minds from things that we're attached to and detaching through that process.
So sometimes that I've been meaning to ask you about too, I see we talk a lot about sun gazing.
Yes.
Do you mind
yes.
sharing?
Sure.
Because this seems to be a growing movement too. Like there's more and more people that are
It is.
sun gazing. What is sun gazing?
Okay. Just to kind of start from the ground up, everything is energy, and all the food that we consume contains sunlight. Well, most of it, not all of it. Of course, a lot of processed foods and stuff like that do not contain sunlight. You know, it's man-made chemicals and stuff, and this is why it's not harmonious with our energetic flow in our bodies. So stuff like plant-based foods and whatnot, they contain sunlight, and so we're consuming these foods, and it's like the sun is coming into the plants that we're eating, and then we're eating the plants. So it's kind of like we're eating the middleman there, right? So we're getting our energy from the stuff, but sun gazing is just utilizing that source energy and using it as a form of fuel, as a direct source from the fuel, rather than putting in a middleman and consuming that. So it's just to kind of give everyone a little bit of a tidbit on how to go about it is, I actually haven't been doing a whole lot recently just because there's not as much sun. Like the summertime when Canadian winters is a little bit different, but I actually talk about this in the documentary as well. At the first 45 minutes and the last 45 minutes of sunrise and sunset is when the least amount of UVB rays, or UVB and UVA rays, are being emitted, so it's the safest time to look at the sun. And what you can do is kind of just, I like to give this analogy. Has anybody ever looked at those puzzles that where it's just like, it looks like 2D, and then you kind of relax your eyes and then you see like a 3D image? It's kind of just like gazing and looking past the sun and just very relaxing your eyes and allowing this subtle energy to come and flow into your eyes and allowing the light to enter your eyes, and you can use it. Sometimes you can actually feel it like going throughout your body, traveling down your body, and it can help to dissolve certain programming of like hunger and stuff, where we believe that we need to consume this denser food to give us fuel, but you know, like I was saying, everything is energy, so it's just about utilizing the energy that's there and understanding that we're already connected to the sun, so it's just about allowing that to accept and absorb into our physicality. Just knowing that that connection is there for us to utilize.
It's basically a way to go direct for the nourishment that
Exactly.
these physical beings need.
Exactly.
Did you find you were eating less while you were doing that?
Yes, absolutely. I started to, when I first started practicing, I would do it in the morning. I would get up with the sunrise, and yeah, I found that my energy levels increased drastically. Um, I can honestly say I haven't been sick in over a decade. Like, no, I don't even get like a little slight cold, and yeah, just I find that through practicing and getting in touch with my body and what my body feels that it wants most, I find that, yeah, utilizing sun energy and eating an animal and dairy food diet and stuff like that just allows me to boost my energy levels.
So do you believe too then that, I mean, I've read about I think monks, there's groups of monks out there that literally sun gaze and don't eat any food.
Yes.
And they've been doing this for like an extended time.
Yes.
Do you believe that is
Oh,
likely?
absolutely. And this goes back to belief systems and programming. Because our original design in these physicalities was not to create a dependency on food for survival. And really it was just an experience that we created so that we could have a more intense experience. And yeah, all they're really doing is going beyond the belief systems that we need to consume food to survive and whatnot. And there's actually people that even go further than sun gazing. There's breatharians out there. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of them.
Yeah, yeah.
They just understand that they understand the flow of consciousness, where it's about expansion and contraction, and through breathing they just allow them.
Your belief system. Because, I mean, sun gazing beliefs say that you can get the energy direct from the sun, but
Yes.
breatharians would say you don't need to do that. It's all around all the time.
Exactly.
You just breathe.
Exactly. And rather than say belief system, I like to say just awareness. Being aware that it's possible. Because when we come to belief systems, sometimes there's a lot of stigmas attached to it and certain rules and stuff. But this is just, yeah, exactly. It's just about more of a conscious awareness and just a knowing that it's possible and that it's part of what we're experiencing.
It's pretty cool. I like food.
Oh, it's a great experience. It's a great experience.
At this point, anyway. But yeah, that's interesting. So, similar question for you, as far as, oh, I already asked you that one. The single
Okay.
most helpful thing. All right, well, let's do that other one that I've been asking too, about 2012. What
Yes.
is it? What's going on? Like, what's going on?
Okay, that's a great question. There's layers to it. Okay. What's happening right now is that we're going through a transformational process. Now, just to touch on different layers, from a scientific perspective, it's like Anna was saying, it's the end of a 5,125-year cycle. It's the end of that cycle, and we're going into a new cycle. And it's also an energetic shift. On a scientific level, the planet, at the end of the year on December 21st, is going to lock into 13 hertz, which is going to bring in a fourth dimensional consciousness. It's bringing a fourth dimensional frequency on the planet. And it's allowing us, what this is it's allowing us to go beyond these belief systems and these lower vibrating energies that I was talking about, in this ego-based consciousness. Now, what has happened over thousands and thousands of years is we've been playing in this very repetitive cycle where we've been experiencing all of these emotions and these various belief systems and whatnot. And we've kind of been playing like victim and victimizer through various lives and whatnot. And we've been experiencing for so long that it's been difficult for us to let go of this. And so now what we're choosing to go through is this transformation of letting go of all of this stuff so that we can open ourselves up into a more expanded experience where we're able to see, like I was saying, the interconnectedness between us and creating through a love-based consciousness where we understand that we're all here to serve one another, we're all here to play with one another, and just creating an experience that reflects that within human society and within just our own individual lives. So just to kind of sum it up, it's like what I was saying with the ego-based consciousness and stepping into love is that it's going to be like putting Windows operating system on a Mac, where if we're holding on to these lower vibrating energies, it's not going to be supported in this higher frequency that we're locking into. And so we actually have chosen to create a 2-year window for ourselves, where from 2013 to 2050, we're going to allow ourselves to align with that fourth dimensional frequency, and it will continue to accelerate.
It's not going to be like a flip of the switch on the 21st.
Well, for some people, it will open up a sense of, they will see some things differently. They will see an interconnectedness for people that are doing the work now. Now, it's about just under 1/3 of the planet are going to experience that. Now, the other 2/3 are kind of on the fence. They haven't fully decided whether to stick around and participate in the shift or not. So yeah, I mean, it's not going to be like snap our fingers, everybody's awakened, the planet's in full harmony, and that's it. No, there's still a lot of work to do, but it's going to assist us. It's another wake-up call and acceleration that will allow you just to assist us in our journey.
Sir, do you think there's any like physical stuff that happens at the planet, like on a physical level? I mean, we're already seeing a lot of, hurricanes and earthquakes and what's happening, and ever since January 2011, with the mass, hundreds of thousands of animals that have just dropped, and found dead all over the world, that kind of thing. I mean, I think that's still happening. So I think the animals seem to do something as well. So I'm just wondering what your perspective is.
Well, I do understand that there are, because of the fact that we're in a purging and clearing state, the planet is experiencing that as well. And through thousands of years of what we've been experiencing through our energetic imprints that have been left in the planet is bringing all of that up as well. Through these earthquakes and volcanic eruptions and stuff like that, it's releasing all these older, denser energies, and it's allowing the planet to shift as well. So yes, there are going to be some experiences like earthquakes in certain areas of the world going underwater a little bit, because it's just part of the shift. It's part of the re-landscaping. It's part of an energetic rise that the planet's experiencing. But it's not something that we need to fear, because as long as we step into fear, again, we're always going to create what we need to experience for ourselves. So really, it's an opportunity for us to create a transition of this consciousness in how we choose, and we can choose to make it smoothly. We don't have to have all this cataclysmic stuff happen if we don't need to experience it. So what's most important in this is doing our own inner work so that we can connect with the planet and we can shift with the planet smoothly, rather than the planet kind of just giving us a wake-up call to kick us in the ass, so to speak. Sure.
How do you feel that will affect the current societal dynamic that we have?
It will assist in bringing down certain structures, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, just for example, I'll give you guys a personal experience. I have family in New York City that were affected by Hurricane Sandy, and they lived on the coast in Long Island, and two of them had their houses completely destroyed. Now, we can look at that as from a perspective of like, oh no, that's horrible and whatnot. And sure, it's not something that we all wish to experience, but at the same time, there's a beautiful perfection in where they asked to experience that and be a part of that, so that it could surface certain things that they were holding on to and stuff like that, where it's always an assistance. Everything is always for our highest good to assist us on our journey. So when something like that happens, it's really like, once again, I was saying, putting ourselves in an observant state and seeing how we can grow from this, rather than locking into that fear, the old ways of doing it.
Very good. So is there anything in particular that you'd like to share? Is there anything you'd want to share with the people?
Okay, I mean, I could sit here and talk for hours. I just want to say that we're all in this together. As much as I may be up on stage right now, every single one of us has something to bring to the table. We all have our gifts, we all have our experiences, we all have our challenges. And I really feel that if we're going to create a change on the planet, like truly change the way we experience and we feel about the experience, and human society as a whole, it's really about getting over the fear and the disconnection, the segregation that we've created, and really coming together and sharing our experiences and growing together as a race, as we're meant to, because we're all here to play with one another. We're all here to support one another, but we've created this idea of the world, and it's segregated. It's living in a form of survival. You know, some people have to get up and go to work tomorrow to pay some bills. Other people are just doing their thing, and it's like we're all doing these individual things, but where is it getting us? You know, where is it getting us? Where are we going? Where are we headed? We have to come together if we really want to make a change. It allows us to go beyond these walls and these boxes that we've created that do separate us. So really, by doing our own inner work, we're not only assisting ourselves, but we're assisting the collective, we're assisting the planet. And you know, I find that a lot of people get down on themselves because they feel, oh, what can I do for the world? You know, I feel like I'm not doing anything. But you know, even just as simple going on the bus and maybe giving someone a hug or a smile, something like that, that can shift somebody's day like that. It can be so powerful. You know, I always like to say this story. There was a boy and a grandfather. You guys might have heard this before. I think it's kind of popular, but I like it. They're walking on a beach, and there's all these beached starfish, and they're just laying all over the sand. And the boy's like, "Oh no, grandfather! Like, what's wrong with all these starfish?" And he's just saying, "Oh, you know, it's just part of the season. That's what happens. They all come on the beach, and some of them die, some of them don't, some of them make it." And so the boy's like, "No, we've got to save all these starfish." And so he starts throwing one back, but there's like thousands of starfish, and the grandfather's like, "Oh, you'll never be able to save them all." But the little boy was just like, "That's okay. You know, I feel guided to save these, and it made a difference to that one that I am saving." You know, so it's really just go beyond any sort of self-doubt and sort of fears that we're feeling, and just be yourself, and don't be afraid to be yourself in the world. You know, 4 years ago, I can tell you guys that I wouldn't be up here on stage in front of people talking, but you know, I absolutely love it now because it allows me to connect myself to you guys. It allows me to share my experiences, and I feel that it's so empowering because through me giving my heart to people, it makes me feel whole. You know, and it's allowed me to dissolve a lot of need for external things. I find that we attach to a lot of external ideas of things that will bring us peace and a sense of power in the world, but really just being ourselves and not afraid to share that and just shining your light for the world is, I think, one of the most powerful things we can do.
Did you get a remedy from Anna for that?
We can talk about it later.
Good stuff. Yeah, just be the best version of yourself that you can be each day. I think is really all that is asked of us, as far as there is something we're being asked to do, is to be the best us we can be.
Absolutely. And you know what? And wherever we are now is absolutely perfect. And we don't need to judge where we are now. Just always look at things of how can I grow? You know, how can I expand myself? Because we're all on our own individual journeys, which is absolutely perfect. And that's what makes up the beauty of this planet, the diversity of our experiences and the different cultures, the different belief systems, all this stuff. Yeah, it's been absolutely great. But, you know, we have to go beyond the separation and the fear and whatnot to embrace our gifts and embrace our diversity that we all have and create something entirely new, something that resonates with all of us within our hearts, a lesson in the experience.
It's happening.
Absolutely.
It's happening. I've been paying attention and watching and being aware for about 7 years now, and it's happening faster and faster.
Absolutely.
More people are waking up and stepping up to do all they can to heal themselves. Heal, I use that word lightly, but heal themselves, heal the world. Make this a better place.
Absolutely. You know, it's good that if I could just touch on healing even very quickly. I do energy work myself. I do group clearings, I do planetary clearings, and work on myself. And I find that there's a lot of stigma to the word healing, where we attach judgment to it. We see it as something wrong within us, or within the planet, or within society, whatever. It's really more so about just looking at, it's a dissolving and transforming process, and a restructuring, where if we can look at ourselves from a neutral standpoint, where it's just like, okay, I'm experiencing this, how can I go beyond it by letting go of the belief systems, like the judgment and whatnot. It's just about letting go and dissolving and transforming things. Like even just for example, for your eyes, I know for my personal experience, things that I've experienced where I started to realize that as I would judge things, that's why it was being created within me. And as we let go of whatever that experience is creating for us, like any belief systems, like, for example, just to give everybody an example of how to go beyond certain things. If we're experiencing something you can close your eyes and are you guys open to doing a little exercise right now? Okay, let's do it. If everybody wants to just close their eyes. We're just going to begin by focusing on the breath. And as we're breathing, we're releasing all tension from our body, detaching from any thoughts, just allowing ourselves to focus on our breath, feeling the expansion, the inhalation, the contraction. And what we can do in our daily lives is if we can bring ourselves to this state, it allows us to quiet our minds and observe things from a neutral standpoint. And just for example, we can use this right now to look at something. Just look at something that's making you feel uncomfortable. Could be an experience that you had earlier today. Could be an experience that you experienced this month. Could be something from your childhood. Just anything that you feel you are not at peace with. Picture yourself in that experience. Put yourself, whether it's in front of a person or just in a room with certain people, certain things. Just imagine yourself there. Now as you're there, make a point of observing what you feel. Is there a certain energy within the body that's making you feel uncomfortable? Is there a story running through your mind, creating a perspective for you about the experience? And as we observe this, it's allowing us to feel what we are conditioning, what we are holding on to for our experience. Now as we observe it, we can understand that it's not a part of who we are. Because if we're able to observe it from an outside perspective, it's not that it's who we are, it's just something that we're experiencing. And as we let go of these stories and these feelings, and just allow it to breathe out of us, just allow it to melt out of us, it can allow us to detach from these experiences. Whenever you feel ready, you can just open your eyes. Just a very, very simple exercise like that, where the emotions that we experience, like we were saying before, is that this autopilot, when it triggers, it can take us right out of the moment. We're either creating a story from the past, or we're holding on to something projecting for the future, and it's creating all this judgment, this emotional turmoil and stuff. But if we can just really make a point of just allowing to bring yourself into the moment and observing things, that's the most powerful thing. And we can go into this further. I know we talked about doing meditation. If you guys are interested, we can do a meditation where we can go even more deeper into that and do some activation type
I'd
stuff.
like to do that. Close with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be a good way to
Absolutely.
end it all. But yeah, well, how about we wrap this part
Sure.
up? Thank you very much, Matthew. That was some awesome stuff you shared with
Thank
us.